Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast with the Three Guys cast.
You don't have a name
Pod.
for this yet. You got to
It's
think
the
of a name for
Mandarin
this.
effect.
The
No, we're not
Okay, let
good.
me start. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the mandolin effect with the three guys, the three mandolins,
That
as
was
they
our
call us.
12-minute intro.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, it's Part
It,
P Papa Putty here.
hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Three Mandolins.
Yes.
I'm here, followed by Putty Man, and followed by Compo Dots
I
Reviews.
actually
Putty Man
unfollowed him.
at Gamer Podheads. Anyway, guys, today we're talking about Ghost. Last time we talked about the Mandela effect, or the Mandarin effect, or the Mandolin effect, however you want to look at it. So today we're gonna be talking about ghosts and like ghost stories and what we think about it. Basically, it's the same thing as last time. We're just gonna be giving our opinions on what we think about that spiritualness and ghosting shit stuff, ghosts and stuff shit. So yeah, but I'm gonna start it off with a story that I have. So basically, one time I was sleeping in my buddy Steven's house. I was probably like in grade 5 or something. We were going on like a field trip the next day, so I had to sleep at his house. And I remember like as we were like sleeping at his house, we were watching ghost movies. We weren't telling ghost stories. It was nothing like that. And we hung out the whole day. We had a good
What were
time,
you
and then it
guys
was time
doing?
eating food, some pizza. Anyway, it was about time to go to bed, and I remember his mom. Okay, so at his house he lives with his mom and his uncle in his grandmother and grandfather's old house because they had passed away, and his dad passed away when he was younger. But anyway, so I remember his mom was telling us to sleep in his grandmother's old room because it was bigger. So like the whole night we were like I said we weren't thinking about ghosts or anything like that, right? But I remember as soon as we went, we I was sleeping on the floor, he was sleeping on the bed. I remember as soon as we laid down, he turned the lights off. We were about to go to sleep. It was late, and then out of nowhere, I just remembered him always telling these stories about how his house was haunted. And I wasn't. We were thinking about this throughout the whole night. There was no talks about ghosts, but as soon as I went to sleep, I remembered all those days in school on recess and stuff where he'd be talking about like how his house is haunted, this and that. And as soon as I start to think about it, my brain started to spiral out of control. And like I remember him saying like, "Oh, sometimes I'm sleeping and I hear like people walking in the hallway," and then I started to hear like little creaks in the hallway and stuff like that. And it got so bad to the point where I just couldn't fall asleep for like hours, hours and hours. And then eventually I ended up falling asleep and waking up and like going to the washroom and I didn't remember it. You know what I mean? I didn't remember that I was tripping out the night before. But yeah, that's basically my whole thing on like ghosts is like sometimes people's you're worried about a certain thing like ghosts or like you hear stories about it and you just like you psych yourself out and you cause yourself to have like these you know freakouts and stuff like that. And I get it. Like I've had buddies like my buddy Taz who like is sure that ghosts are real and is sure that he's seen ghosts before and stuff like that. But me personally, yeah, just like probably both of you guys, Putty and John, I've never seen an actual ghost, so I don't know. I can't confirm that. You know what I mean? For me, it's just like all these little stories. Like I have a bunch of them that's just like that. Where like I was so scared, thinking that I've seen a ghost, or like thinking that I heard something, and then I realized no, it was nothing. I was just tripping out. It was my mind taking over.
They're bullshit.
That's what you use
Nice.
this.
In-depth putty conversation.
And podcast right there. The bullshit.
You can bleep me out. I don't care. My point, the whole thing is is just. I mean, it's been proven that when it comes to spirituality, things of that nature, it's bullshit. And the thing is with Ghost, it's bullshit. I mean, you trick your mind. People are like, "Well, I heard creaking upstairs." Do you know wood expands and expands and expands or whatever the word is? Whenever it's cold out, like that'll make creaks. Like a lot of people don't realize a lot of times when they hear ghosts is during the wintertime is because of that. I mean, I have some great funny stories of when I got scared because like I remember when Child's Play. The first time I saw Child's Play, I got scared by my buddy doll. My buddy doll, but that wasn't real. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's all. It's all in your freaking head.
Exactly. That's basically what I experienced that day. Like I remember that night being so scared that I couldn't even like I couldn't fall asleep. It took me hours. And my buddy was already asleep. I remember at one point I was like, "Yo, yo." And he was already sleeping. So I was there like just tossing and turning and it was just spiraled out of control. It got worse and worse and worse. because you know what I mean. Like it wasn't like I didn't hear footsteps. I heard wood creaking, just like you said. It wasn't like I heard footsteps in the hallway. But as a kid, like scared like that, you think you're hearing like a footsteps, and then you don't hear no door open or door close. It's not like it was someone just going to the washroom at night. You just hear like a wood creak noise, you know. And as a kid, it's just like it scared the shit out of me, and I'm like, oh my god. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Especially because where we live, it's all like old houses. They're all, you know.
Well, I'm one of those I'm one of those people when people tell me, like it comes to anything that's outside of the world. Like I hate reality in general, and the reason I say I hate reality is because reality is boring. We as humans have way better imaginations than any other animal in this world, and I would love for anything that is imaginary to be real. So I'm one of those people that when someone says something's haunted, I'm like, ooh, let's go check it out. And they're like, no, I'm too freaked out. I'm like, why? There's nothing there. You're just tripping yourself out. I want to find out if it's true, because if it's true, that's going to be awesome. Just like the same thing about the whole alien thing. People are going to be like, oh, I'd never approach an alien. I'm like, shit, I'm going to die one day. At least I went up to the alien. You never know.
All right, well, spoiler alert. I want it for a couple episodes in the future. I want to do one just about UFOs, about just about like UFOs, and then I want to do one about our like what we think about ancient aliens and stuff like that.
Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. So what he's trying to tell you is that we're going to do another podcast where he's going to tell you a story, and then me and Putty are just not going to believe any of it. So, yeah.
Okay, well, Putty got his story out last podcast about the fucking...
Yeah, so here, I would like to thank Dr. Puttersworth for his input on this with his contracting and decontracting of woods.
Okay.
Wood.
You have to think of it like this. It's not even... I'm going to say no, and I'm definitely not going to say yeah, but there's no evidence to prove either way. You can't prove to me that they are, and you can't prove to me that they're not. I'm not on the side that they are.
Yeah, but you can prove to me that water exists. You can't prove to me that water doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but water is there.
How are you going to prove to me that ghosts are real? You can't.
That's my point. So I'm not on the side of believing in it, but there's still no evidence that you can prove me either way, and it's not the point. I don't care.
Yeah, but that leads me to believe that it doesn't exist.
If you want a perfect example, if you watch those shows, okay, there was the period of time where every ghost show in the whole world was on TV. So let's just say there was way more than this number, but there's 10 ghost shows. Mm-hmm. Every single one of them spent multiple seasons going to the quote-unquote most haunted places in the world, and not one of them ever experienced anything. Except for the one crazy guy or girl that was like, I'm a psychic, and yeah, I felt the vibes, man. And they were just like, yeah, no, you're high as shit, guy. That's what it is. Like, I'll tell you right now, there's times where I'm sitting in the living room right now, literally right now, and it's late at night, and I'm watching YouTube, and all the lights are off, and it's complete silence except for me watching YouTube, and I've smoked a couple, and then I'll hear a couple noises, and I'm like, yeah, not fucking with that. I turn off the computer, and I'm going upstairs. But that doesn't mean anything. That's just my mind fucking with me, and I'm not gonna lie.
But it's good that you bring up these.
This is the thing. Let me just finish quick. If it was real, okay, wouldn't somebody that we know somebody, or wouldn't we know anybody that had this experience? The only people that ever seem to come up to you that you've ever met that are like telling you about these experiences are the people that are so untrustworthy, or literally the people that you know as like crazy idiots.
Okay, well, one of my buddies, Taz, as I was talking
You're
about
only
before,
backing on my story.
Taz is one person who claims to have seen spirits and ghosts and dealt with a lot of this stuff before. So I could have him on this podcast one day, and we'll do like an hour-long conversation with him and let him rant about all his crazy stories. But the one that I'll bring up is the fact that one time he was with my other buddy, Fran, and my buddy Fran isn't the type of guy to like believe in ghosts and stuff. He's similar like me, where he has to see it to believe. He's very similar in that way. And one time they were at my buddy Taz's house, and they claimed to see like something like spiritual, I guess, in the garden. I don't even want to say what it is because it just sounds so stupid. They claim to see like a ghost figure in their backyard like late at night. And like I remember hearing that story and tripping out because like I said, I'm hearing the guy that's telling me the story is someone who doesn't believe in this stuff. It's like, imagine if I were to come to you, Putty or John, and be like, yo, like I seen a ghost. You know what I mean? You kind of feel like a little trippy about it. You'd be like, what the hell? Like you were just saying you don't believe in ghosts on the podcast a couple of days ago. So it was a little bit of a weird experience to hear that, but
Well, see, also you got to keep in mind that Taz also convinced me that Alita: Battle Angel is a bad movie until I saw it and I actually enjoyed it. So
that's true.
I told you it was good. It's amazing.
Yeah, so that you're right though. That could have been a situation where Taz was talking about how ghosts are real and he experiences ghosts and he's like, look, you know what I mean? And they see like a bag floating in the backyard and they're like, oh.
Yeah, under what circumstances were they?
Anyway, that doesn't. Yeah. So, John, you bring up a good thing that I want to talk about because I want to bring this up is ghost shows. So on these shows, I'm 50-50 because some of them I watched Shane Dawson's ghost show and I know he's not like an actor or anything and like he doesn't ever see ghosts or anything like that, but they experience things that are just trippy. Like he'll be taking pictures and he'll show you the picture and there'll be like orbs all around when they're at these haunted places because they'll actually go to haunted places. And he'll do certain things that like just seem weird. They don't seem right. And like they'll hear voices. Like there's one time where he has an audio recording and he's recording and they're having a conversation. And then he plays back the audio recording and jacks up the volume. And like you hear stuff in the background. You clearly do. But I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. But yeah, these ghost shows. I don't know if they're 100% bullshit or what the situation is with them. But if you've ever watched like Ghost Hunters, there's a couple episodes that'll like kind of convince you that shit's real.
It's like backmasking. A lot of people. The thing with backmasking is backmasking. If you're not aware, is where if you play certain records in reverse, you basically hear them say subliminal stuff. And that thing is just one of those things where you're forcing yourself to hear something because you can convince somebody that when you reverse another one. Bites the dust, you hear him, it's fun to smoke marijuana. I was convinced I heard it too, until I went back and actually said, okay, let me actually listen to this. And it did sound like it, but it's because I'm forcing my mind to think it sounds like that. And that's one of the things you do when they set you up and say, hey, this is this and this, they can make it sound like that. And at the same time, even if it's clear as day sounding like it, you don't know what's happening in the background. You don't know if that sound of that mic is so powerful it's picking up the next door neighbors, but you're just picking it mid-sentence so that it may sound like we're here. But at the same time, it could have been someone down that's a road down the street. For some reason, they picked them up and heard them say we're here as they're entering, getting home or something like that. And that's my whole point. You're gonna twist your brain in those situations and make you think, oh my God, this has to be true because it picked it up. Motherfucker, when it comes to those lights and those dots and orbs and everything, there's many ways that cameras can pick up different lighting that your eye cannot see, and then all of a sudden, it's in your picture. I mean, you got to think there's things we can't see that are out there that actually exist, but because our eyes are not trained to see it, we wouldn't see it. And that's the reason why you see stuff in the corner of your eyes. It's shadowing. It's something reflecting off your own eye, things of that nature, and you deceive yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's a lot of haunted places in Toronto where I live. We've went to a bunch of them, and those are good stories for another day. There's nothing really scary happened, but when you end up coming to Toronto, buddy, would you be interested in going to some of these haunted places? Like there's one on Perth where a girl got like killed, and then another old lady fell down the stairs in the same house and died.
It doesn't. I would go, but the thing is, I'm one of those that's gonna go in there and be like, okay, what are we looking for? And I'm not. I'm gonna be so skeptical.
Yeah,
it's probably not gonna be fun at all in the first place because I'm so skeptical. You know what I mean? Because I'm looking for it, and it's not gonna happen for me because I'm looking for it. You know what I mean?
Sounds scared, buddy.
Yeah, you sound a little scared, brother.
Okay, I'm not gonna go. So you guys are on your own.
We've already went before. But
I don't do things like that. Like, I'm telling you right now, I'm not a believer, but I'm also not a persuader. I don't ask for things. Like, whether or not it's real or not, I'm not asking for it to come here and see me.
So John's one of the ones that would be standing behind me going, you go.
No, John's one of the ones that wouldn't go.
I would be that person. I'm not going to lie. I would be that person. I would be that person. I think John, out of all of us, is the biggest believer that ghosts might be real. Like he said it himself. He doesn't know if they're real. He doesn't know if they're fake. So I think out of all three of us, I think John is the one that like kind of, or Compo's the one that kind of thinks, you know what, this stuff might be real.
Yeah, but I don't think it's real, but I'm also not asking for it to be real.
Yeah, you're not looking for the evidence.
I'm not looking for that kind of shit on me. You ever seen a movie before? You don't fucking ask for that shit.
Yeah, but see unless you're talking about serial killers from the scary movie franchise, even in those situations, a scary doll is a scary doll. But if that doll comes to life, that's going to be one thing where I'm like, well, I'm going to end up in a movie because I'm going to be dead. But
Dude,
at least I'm going to be in a movie.
You could put me against a fucking Chucky doll any day you want, rather than something floating around that I can't stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but when
I'll
is something
fight
ever
some guy with a
floating
knife.
around?
I'd rather fight him
Ghostbusters?
than get killed. I'm not going to run up to the top floor of my house and lock myself in a room and then have no way out. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather just go one-on-one with the fucking Scream guy.
Right. Yeah,
I
but
hear
see,
you.
astral projections is basically like it just says. If it's a ghost, it's a projection. What's it going to do by hurting you?
That's also my thing that I've always said. If they are ectoplasmic, whatever, they would not be able to physically interact with anything. And
Exactly.
how does that entail gaining telekinetic powers that you can mind fucking throw shit? Like, this is all just Hollywood nonsense.
Exactly, just like zombies existing. But hey.
Yeah, but I'll go one-on-one with the zombie. Bring on the zombies.
Right? Look at me stiff as it is. So.
You can kill zombies. I seen it. I watched the show once.
That's a lie. He's never watched The Walking Dead.
I never watched it. It's true. Well, actually, I did. I watched the first 5 episodes.
Well, you had to at least seen Night of the Living Dead or some kind of zombie movie to know that,
Of course I have. Are you kidding me? Come on.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Who am I talking to? I mean, but my point to the whole thing is, it's a mumbo jumbo. I wouldn't mind things of that nature being true, but just as much as I wouldn't mind, mutant genetics and be able to get superpowers at a certain age, or me going getting exploded by gamma radiation and becoming Hulkified, you know what I mean? I would want that stuff to happen, but I know it not to be fact. So at the same time, I'm not going to put myself in the situation like you would, Campo, in those situations. But with when it comes to ghosts and ghost stories, if they're able to push things around, then why haven't they been doing it more often? Why is it only selective? You know what I mean? I mean, seriously, if they really want to get our attention, they would grab that knife and cut you. And they would get it on camera and be like, see, told you, I'm right here holding the knife. No, I don't see how it'd be selective where they're like,
You're just making me think that this is how Putty's trying to, plan a murder. He's like, yeah, a ghost did it. I caught it on camera. He picked up the knife. Okay.
Well, that's the whole point. I mean, like, why would they, ooh, they moved the glass. Ooh, they made the light flicker. Like, oh, seriously.
Like, Jesus Christ, stop stacking my goddamn chairs on the table. I'm tired of moving them. Like, just leave them on the floor.
Like, what is their point in that? They're like, ooh, I just tipped over your glass. Aren't you scared? It's like, dude, do something a little more menacing. Like, burn my house down or something like that.
Okay, come on. I don't need you to burn my house down. And I'd be pretty pissed off if my cup kept getting tipped over. Let's just be honest. Like, you have to walk to the kitchen every 2 minutes and refill your cup. You know how much juice is? Juice is not cheap. Juice is more expensive than gas.
Okay, that's kind of angering. I can see. That definitely is understandable, but not enough to scare me. Just anger me. There's a big difference.
So, what's not the best? What is the scariest? Well, I want to say ghost movie, but I guess just ghost movie.
Just ghost movie or just scary movie?
Like, I don't know, because it's not. It has
to
be
is
supernatural.
Why don't I even know any ghost movies? What's a ghost movie? Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
If I would say the scariest movie to me is either is Grudge or The Ring.
Well, those are both ghost movies, so good job.
Okay.
If I'm gonna go by Grudge or The Ring, it's gonna go more to the Korean versions, Ju-on or
of course. Okay, but that's not what we're talking. You're not gonna pick either one of those. So what are you dropping on me?
Well, see, the only thing I actually ever got scared of in any movie, and I think it was Insidious. I can't remember what it was, but it was. And I haven't seen the movie in a long time, but it had a family sitting at a dinner table, and the gentleman was sitting there, and all of a sudden the demon's face was right behind his head, and he had the red and black on his face. That was the only time I could say in a movie that literally made me jump out of my skin and like a crawling effect. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I saw, and I don't know if I've ever told you guys this story, but when I did see the Ring, I actually saw it at a local theater when I was living in Pennsylvania, and I was walking home after the movie, and I did get the creeps because as I was walking home, there was a well behind one of my someone that lived down the street, not really a neighbor, but they actually had a well. And as I was walking towards it, I said, "You know what? I'm gonna take the long way," and actually turned, because just because the movie had an effect on me. Now I knew it wasn't real, but just like Campo said, in that situation, because it implanted in my head, I
Okay,
saw that well, and I said, "You know what? I'm gonna turn away and walk away." There's nothing that
but
happened.
I think
Nothing
we've
faced
all
me.
had that feeling where after you sit. Well, me and my buddies used to watch on YouTube ghost like videos, right? And we would watch ghost videos for hours. But the reason it would go on for hours is because nobody wanted to be like, okay, I'm gonna go home now because we were all so scared. You know what I mean?
So you
So
just
we would all
continue
just
watching?
we would just continue watching them because no, I remember it would be like, okay, I'm gonna go home, like I'm leaving now, you know what I mean? And then I'd be like, oh, let's just chill out and watch some YouTube for an hour, and then let's like let's leave. And then we'd start watching YouTube and we'd get into ghost videos and we'd be there till like 5 in the morning because nobody wanted to leave because
See,
everyone was so scared.
see,
And
and
it's
that's
like I have that feeling a lot where like I don't believe that ghosts are real, but there's that weird feeling that after you're all spooked up, it's just like, you know what I mean? It even happened on the stream. Remember when we were streaming and we were telling ghost stories?
yeah.
Like that day, I remember like I could not that I couldn't go to sleep, but I remember just tripping out. Like I tried to, I was in the dark and like I turned the light on and like I was like I can't do it. I can't just sit here in the dark after, you know what I mean? Like it was just weird. So
Well, see, for me, it's more of a situation, not even with ghosts. It's more of like conspiracy theories. Like when I hear conspiracy theories or watch a video that talks about, the government's doing this or they're now doing this and things of that nature,
yeah.
and then I watch it. I've done it with several of them that I've proved myself and proved online that they've been fake series, but I'll still watch it, and then my head, like I remember the first time I saw Zeitgeist. We had talked about it before, but anyway, when I saw Zeitgeist, I saw it at a friend's house. And then I had to go home, which I still did it. I went home, but then that whole time I turned off my phone and everything because I was like, "Oh God, what if they're listening to me right now as I'm driving home and they're gonna follow me?" And it wasn't even a matter of it was ghost. It was just like, "Holy crap, this could be shit that's real." Compared to ghosts, that's what more scares me is about stuff that can potentially be real compared to something that looks like Slimer. I mean, I'm just saying that's realism is way more scarier than any ghost story
no, I agree
monster
with you.
movie.
I agree with you 100%. But yeah, I think I just let my brain spiral out of control sometimes, and I
Mhm.
think John, you're probably like that too, where things get out of hand when you start thinking about stuff. Like you said, you're sitting at your computer one time and then you hear a noise and
Oh,
you're
it
like, I'm
happens
out.
like every single night. But that's just
I
that
don't
I
know.
take that as the sign that it's time to go to sleep.
Nice. It's like the ghost is telling you it's
When your
bedtime.
body gets tired, your brain starts to deteriorate, not like falling apart, but like your mental state. So
Oh yeah.
you start to uh
Get delusional and
yeah,
stuff.
you
Yeah.
get delusional, and like you can easily, like, your mind starts playing tricks on you. Anything you hear is like boom,
Yeah, that's
boom, you're
happened to
awake.
me. Me and Putty are both people who've pulled all-nighters multiple times within the last like 3 months just for work. And you, Putty, you know what I'm talking about. That moment when you're like, you just start laughing out of nowhere, like nothing will even happen, and we're just
Okay,
sitting there
wait, I
dying
got
of
a good
laughter.
one. I got a good one. So this actually happened like maybe a week ago or so. So I was sleeping, and like, you know how sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night and like you're like, my dream wasn't even about this, but I was just like, I woke up and I had to take a piss, and I was still like sleeping.
Yeah.
So, and like right before I woke up, there was someone was on the side of my bed talking to me. So I'm like still asleep, okay? And then when I woke up, I was punching the ground on the side of my bed like I was trying to kill whatever was there. But like subconsciously, like thank
Okay,
God none
that's
of my cell phone and shit wasn't there. I would have broke it. I was like furiously punching the fucking floor.
I'm happy you bring that up actually, because I know people who have dealt with this and it's not a ghost experience, but people think it is. Remember, okay, one of my buddies that I met online was having an experience like this where every day he would wake up and he would be held down by a
Oh, but
ghost. He
that's
thinks it
called
was a
sleep
ghost.
paralysis.
Exactly. He thinks it's a ghost, right? And I tried to tell him it was sleep paralysis, and he's like, "No, it's not sleep paralysis. It's a ghost holding me down when I wake up." He's like, "I can't move." He's like, "I can move my legs, but like my neck is like to the bed."
Because your body's still asleep.
Anyway, besides the point, he's convinced that it's ghost. But then with some of my other buddies, they've had it and they know it's sleep paralysis, and they tell me that it is, right? So I think that's a big experience where people think that ghosts are real because of that. I've heard that so many times. When there's a lot of people who think that ghosts are real, it's because of things that
Yeah,
happen to
but
them when they just
that
wake
is
up.
that is a super scary experience, and like everyone will experience that in their life, and it's a weird thing because like no one ever tells your kids about that. Like that's something you should tell your kids, because the first time it ever happened to me, it was the scariest thing that ever happened. I just woke up and for like 2 minutes I couldn't fucking move. but I was awake. So now it's like I've become accustomed to it, and when it happens, I literally throw myself off the bed onto the floor so that my body has to fucking move to stop me from falling on the floor.
Well, thankfully for me, I never go into deep sleep because of my sleep apnea, so I don't have to worry about that.
Right? I've not felt sleep paralysis yet. And another thing is I think it also depends on how you sleep and what position you sleep as well, too.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's on your back.
I'm a back sleeper. I'm a straight up back sleeper.
I'm not. I'm always tossing and turning. I've never like slept for more than an hour straight without waking up. So
okay. Ex-girlfriend of mine told me that the one that she saw me sleeping. I sleep on my side, and then whenever I pushed her close off the bed, she said I always wake up and see you in the dead ballerina position. I go, what the fuck is the dead ballerina position? She goes, it's when you got one leg extended and then one leg bent where your knee up, and then you got your arms above your head in the pillow, and it's called the dead ballerina.
I do that all the time. Like one up, the other leg's extended out, and your arms are behind your head.
I literally sleep with one arm over my face, like behind my head. Like that's just how I sleep.
But yeah, think of it next time when you look at it, Nikki. It looks like a dead ballerina. She said, "I look like a dead ballerina."
I know. As soon as you said it, I pictured it in my head. I'm like, "Yep, I know that position very well." I'll wake up sometimes and be like, "Why the fuck why do I look like a dead ballerina right now?" And I fucking shake out of it. But anyway, guys, this was a good episode. This kind of spiraled out of control. We started talking about ballerinas and fucking movies and stuff, but it was good. I enjoyed this, and we're gonna be doing this a lot, guys. This is just random podcasts about random topics and what we think about them. So
can I draw my punchline?
Yeah, okay, you can drop your punchline, but wait for the right moment, all right? But guys, make sure you guys are subscribed to Gamer Potheads on YouTube. I'm gonna link to his channel in the description, and I'm also gonna link to Compo's Instagram page where he does movie reviews. If you guys like horror movies, comedies, anything like that, he reviews movies every single day. He always has a post on Instagram, so check him out. It's compo.reviews. Again, I'm gonna link to that in the description. But yeah,
tomorrow too.
What'd you say, buddy?
So I'll have my review up for a movie tomorrow as well too. So that'll be
That's right. Yeah, on Putty's channel at Gamer Podheads, he also does reviews. Tomorrow he's going to be going and watching Shazam and reviewing it. So go check it out. Again, both their channels in the description. Most of you guys watching this are probably subscribed to Putty, but you guys are probably not following John on our compo on Instagram. So make sure you guys go ahead and follow him. But yeah, guys, that's going to wrap this video up. I had a lot of fun doing this. Putty, thank you, and John, thanks. You guys have anything to say before we wrap it up?
Yeah. First thing is that me and Putty are obviously meeting up this weekend to do a Shazam talk.
Okay.
And second thing is, welcome to the Mandarin Effect.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna stick.
This is gonna stick. Welcome to the Mandarin Effect.
Where
we eat up the internet like a buffet and then crap out our opinions.
The three Mad Mandarins podcast. How about that?
Three Mandarins.
I think I'm just gonna keep naming the podcast whatever we're talking about, guys.
That's what I'm going for. I just wanted to get that out there that I wrote down a thing on a paper and I forgot.
How about this, guys? We will put a vote out there. You know what? In the comment, what do you guys want to call the podcast on a regular basis? Do you have a name? Throw it out there in the comments, guys.
Yeah, and also, guys, I'm gonna pin a comment in the comment section of like the next episodes that we like, ideas that we have for episodes, and you guys can let me know what episode you want me to choose. So look for that in the comments. Again, I'm gonna pin my comment in there, and you guys can let me know, because right now off the top of my head I don't know exactly what the ideas are.
You could just comment ideas. If you guys have ideas, just comment.
And see, the thing is, I've also thought about this, and you guys can comment below about this as well. I've thought about it when we do these podcasts, either later or even before, prior to it, when we ever have an idea, like, hey, our next podcast is going to be this and this. If you guys have any questions or things you want to add in the comments that we could read, definitely do it into the prior video so that way we can get it set up for the next video. So give your ideas, things of nature.
Also, guys, in the bottom below for Putty, everyone hashtag Potter is better than Star Wars.